Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another trailer reaction. Prime Video dropped a trailer for Gen V Season 2, so you know your boy Empath had to come back and do another trailer reaction. What's up, everybody? I'm here, and we're here with another trailer. So, Gen V. Gen V is an amazing series that I very much thoroughly enjoyed the first season of. If you weren't aware, Gen V is a series set in the same universe as The Boys, which is also another amazing superhero series. If you're into the superhero genre, I promise you it's something worth checking out. Definitely more adult subject matter. They go about a superhero story in a way that's realistic and gritty, but also very adult and sometimes shocking for the sake of being shocking. So there's a lot of stuff that happens. But if you're into superhero stuff and you're into just dramatic TV series, I think it's just something you'll like, something to check out. Uh, but what I'll say is that the first season ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. I don't want to go into any spoiler territory here, so I'll just say, long story short, I mean, slight spoiler territory, this is season 2, but it basically ended with Marie Moreau, who's this character right here. First of all, let me say her powers. So she was introduced and she has powers very similar to Victoria Newman. In fact, the exact same powers. Um, it was later found out to be a brain popping power, a head popping power. Because when we see Victoria Newman, her power is first introduced as her just secretly from the shadows blowing up people's heads. And we later find out it was her doing it. But what we find out in the culmination of this series is that Marie Moreau's power, which is a blood power, basically she has the power to control not only her blood, but other people's blood. She can turn it into weapons, she can use it as projectiles. And I think she even has some preliminary healing powers when we're first introduced to her. But as she gets to the end of season 1, she meets Victoria Newman and she's introduced to the fact that they have the same powers. Victoria Newman just has the evolved version of her power. So basically, as she gets to control her powers, she'll get to the point where she'll be able to explode people's heads and do all that stuff as well. So it's an interesting part of the series, a bit of a twist, I would say, at the end, because when you're first introduced to Marie Moreau at the beginning of this series and her power, it comes off as somewhat of a lame power. I think that's a bit of what they were going for. They want you to be a little bit of a basically subvert your expectations because she starts off with this power that they don't even take her seriously as a hero. She wants to be a hero, but I believe she doesn't make it into those classes. So she has to go through all these different means trying to do vigilante work and stuff like that to prove herself, but ultimately makes it onto the ranking. And as she's making it onto the ranking, she's developing her powers and she's learning all these other different things that she can do that aren't immediately obvious with the nature of her ability. There's a lot of other abilities at play within this series. They have someone who has the ability to control people's minds, make them do things. And she has a huge role in everything that transpires. Another one of the twists, kind of. Another big character has a power of magnetism, and gotta take a moment to acknowledge that was played by Chance Perdomo, who actually passed away in a tragic motorcycle accident, and he was actually on his way to go start filming season 2 of this series. So I imagine that for the cast, it was very much bittersweet, producing this and ultimately getting it to come out because, they were very much probably looking forward to working with their cast member again. And it was a very unfortunate circumstance, but just want to take a moment to acknowledge him. But his character, I believe his name was Andre, had the power of magnetism. Also, we have Golden Boy, who's a character early on in the series. He's got the power of basically fire, flame on, from Fantastic Four, Human Torch kind of thing. And then we have a very interesting character who has the power. Basically, she has two. Well, she and they have dual powers. Excuse me. They have dual powers because it's two people essentially. There's a boy and a girl, and each one has different powers. Basically, the boy has powers of defensive powers. I think he can do like force fields and stuff like that. Whereas when he switches over to the female version, then she has a power of like super strength and fighting capability type thing. So it's a very interesting thing that they do because it also plays out in like relationships because it's essentially one person that has the ability to shift genders basically. So and it's an interesting way of tackling some gender issues and stuff like that. That's not the the thing that was really cool to me was a lot of times when we're seeing inclusivity in TV series and stuff like that, whether it be about race or gender, things can come off forced. But this was like a very, very unique and interesting way of including the character, but also including a very unique concept, you know? So it was very natural to the whole series and organic. The whole thing felt very well fleshed out and felt very realistic and very real to the times, you know, and some of the things that people in college right now may be going through. I can't necessarily say for a fact because I'm not necessarily in that age range, but you know, it definitely felt very topical and relevant to the times. So all of that rigmarole, it was a very good series, a lot of good characters, and like I said, thoroughly intertwined with the boys. As I'm watching this trailer, as we're getting ready to watch this trailer, I'm interested to see not only how they're going to acknowledge the loss of Chance Perdomo, aka Andre, but also how they're going to move forward because, like I said, it was a cliffhanger left off. Um, there was also something I will say, bit of a spoiler alert here, but if you didn't see The Boys season 4, The Boys season 4, I'll say it in a way that isn't a spoiler. The Boys season 4 ends with a scene that includes some characters from Gen V. So they're very much intertwined and they're very much ramping up towards some story that's going to involve both these casts. So all that being said, I'm very excited for this one. I'm very excited for this one. High expectations. Sad for the loss of Chance Perdomo, but also still excited to see, you know, how this series moves forward. So with all that being said, we're gonna head over to the trailer room. Let's get it. And we got it queued up, everybody. We got it queued up. So, without any further ado, Gen V Season 2.
Welcome back.
Good to be back. Thanks for letting me re-enroll. I'm grateful.
You're an eye twitch away from...
Okay, yeah, sorry. So let's go back to the cliffhanger here. So the cliffhanger that they ended off on, basically, there was a whole riot. There was basically Godolphin University, or Gen V that they're referring to, is the group that are going to this school. It's a school basically for the gifted. And what's revealed in the previous season of The Boys season 3 is that all the people that have powers were not born with powers. They were actually given compound V when they were babies, and then that's how they later developed their powers. So then Godolphin University is essentially a university for all the children that were given compound V to basically guide them as they're developing into superheroes, and basically a pipeline into Vought Industries, because Vought is basically the corporation behind this whole thing. They created Compound V, they're giving the kids their powers, and they're ultimately deciding the fate of these kids and how they're going to move. And they're using that university as a way to figure that all out. But what's revealed near the end of the series was there's this whole underground space where they were keeping people, experimenting on people, ultimately trying to find a way to kill superheroes because they're trying to find a way to take out the Homelander. That's always been a thing in the background of the Boys universe, is how do we take out the Homelander? We need something. We need our MacGuffin that's going to allow us to take him out. Season 3, it was Soldier Boy, which ultimately didn't really pan out. But now they're working on this formula or this disease that they can try and spread. But when that's all revealed, it's basically, oh, this was a secret thing. It was always known. Godolphin University was always going to be experimenting on you. So when they expose that to the dean and she tells them all of that, there's a huge thing. A bunch of people get killed. The dean gets killed. It's just all pandemonium on set, pandemonium at the university, you know, and it all culminates with the Homelander showing up after Marie Moreau had just taken out a bunch of different people, including the woman with the mind control, the girl with the mind control powers. So a lot of this, as you're hearing me explain it, if you didn't see it, it's a lot of deep, layered, complex stuff because there's a lot more to it. The girl with the mind control powers, for example, she's a friend of all of the other Gen V cast members. You know, they're all hanging out. And at a certain point, they have this thing where they wake up and nobody remembers what happened the previous day. And they're going on this wild goose chase trying to figure out who it is, trying to chase down this guy who they think it is. But it's ultimately later revealed that it's their friend all along who had the power to just touch people and make them do stuff. So she had been working with Vought Industries. They have been using her to not only control all of the friends, but to control Soldier Boy, or not Soldier Boy, sorry, Golden Boy, and many other people. She basically, all the plots and all the things that they were planning to do, she was their tool that they used to behind the scenes have these things happen, have these pieces moving around on the board without any awareness. So yeah, it was a lot. Long story short. But at the end of it, Homelander shows up, he confronts Marie Moreau, and he hits her with the laser beams. Next thing you know, all the cast wakes up and they're in this white room, with the exception of the girl who can control people by touching them, and also the other kid who's insane and has basically a Hulk power built into himself. So, yeah, back to the trailer.
Leaping across this table and ripping my throat out with your teeth.
Is there no mercy?
I get why you're upset. After what happened.
Wish there was a fire escape. We could climb out of this life.
Okay, so that girl that they just showed, that's another one of the cast members. I'm saying cast members, that's another one of the college students that we follow. I can't remember her name, but she has the power to shrink and to grow. And she finds out about the ability to shrink later in the series, but initially it's just the ability to grow. And initially it's just the ability to shrink. Later she finds out she can grow, and she does it by making herself throw up. It's a whole plot detail because she reveals it to her roommate, and her roommate uses that to shame her later on in the series. So that's one of the cast members as well. One of the characters, she has a love affair with the Hulk kid, basically, who has an alter ego who just goes crazy and kills people. Yeah. So back to it. Man, the more I try and explain this, the more I'm realizing how some of this could seem very convoluted. You gotta watch it. That's what I'm gonna tell you. You gotta watch it. So I'm gonna try and go a little bit lighter on some of the details, but I'm gonna still, for those who have been watching, you're with me. You see what was happening here. So we're picking back up where these people woke up at.
We could climb out of this life. Leave no rest
Stay behind me.
burn down.
Hey, you guys.
Okay, so this is the character I spoke about who has the ability to touch people and control them, make them do stuff. So, and everyone else got estranged from her. She basically betrayed the entire team and nobody trusted her again. So I guess this is their initial first reintroduction to each other.
Guys.
What the fuck?
It's not worth saving.
I'm Cypher, your new dean. It is time that humans learn that what runs through our veins is true Vought blue.
We're so glad
Nothing good will come of this. Nothing ever does.
with waiting.
Want to burn the school.
So that, I think his name is Sean William Scott, the character there. I'm not saying the right name. That's not his name. Whatever that guy's name is, he's from Barbershop. I remember that. But that's the dad of Chance Perdomo's character, and he also has the same ability of magnetism, basically. What was his name? I can't remember his name. If it pops in my head, I'll say it.
Down to the motherfucking studs. Let's fucking go.
Send over.
I will be preparing you to push your powers to their fullest potential.
Who is this talking?
You are not.
I don't know who this is talking right now, saying that they're gonna. I'm assuming they're still in captivity at this moment. I don't know why they're being trained to harness their abilities. This is interesting, I guess. Intriguing.
Students, you're soldiers, and you will fight.
Okay, so they're trying to use them as soldiers, apparently, and it's seeming like almost like a Task Force X kind of thing that they got going on, basically. So if you're not familiar, DC Comics, basically Suicide Squad. They take a bunch of villains or a bunch of people that they deem villains, and they control them with these collars, basically, that if they don't do what they're telling them to do, they're going to blow off their heads, essentially. So I don't know what means they're using to control them, if it's still going to be the girl with the powers that's just controlling them. But whatever it is, they're trying to do some sort of Suicide Squad thing, it seems like, and use these kids to perform missions and stuff.
Bless your hearts and hold on to your butts.
We should run.
Wait, what? What did I just see there? They put. They say, hold on to your butts, and they show her flying. It looks like her butt is shredded. I'm sure it's not. I'm guessing she's like maybe on like a badminton ball or something like that, and that's what's like filling behind her. But it's just an interesting visual along with that line.
We should run.
What we should be doing is disrupt, break shit, fuck shit up.
Whatever we do it together.
What really happened to my son? You have no idea what you're dealing with.
Also, another element to mention here about the magnetism powers, it was mentioned, well, it came up in the last season that Andre's dad, he had basically stopped using his powers because he came to the realization that they were starting to kill him. I think it was creating a brain tumor in his head. And then Andre had the same thing happening. So he basically came to the realization every time he used his powers, it was getting him a little bit closer to death. So he had to kind of be really cautious with how he used them. I'm wondering if they're gonna somehow have that play into how he ultimately dies or passes away on the show. I'm interested to see how they're gonna actually tackle that.
Let's go. 3, 2.
Sophomore year is gonna be lit.
All right. All right. I think that's a good trailer, y'all. I think that's a good trailer. And what I'm going to say is that it did what I'm going to say is it doesn't take a lot from me with this show. The Boys has been very consistent with what they put forward. And I know the team behind it, I believe that it's actually Seth Rogen that has a key part to play in the production of this, along with Preacher. I believe it was the same team involved in both of those. And I know that him and along with whoever else he's been working with on these series, they're very passionate about the source material. So it always makes me excited for when these series come out or when there's a new season or when they're expanding the universe. Like I said, once again, I imagine for the cast it's bittersweet, you know, Chance Perdomo passing away, rest in peace, an amazing rising talent. You know, I can't imagine having to come back to set, you know, to get back into the swing of things, missing one of your key players, one of your friends, you know, because relationships are built, you know, on these types of things. But at the same time, I'm very excited to see, you know, how they honor his legacy while at the same time move forward and continue to expand this series. I'm excited to see where The Boys is going. I believe the next season is the last season of The Boys. So I don't know if they're going to continue with Gen V or if this is going to be the last season as well, you know, culminating in The Boys season 5. So ultimately time will tell, but drop into the comments and let me know what you think. Did you like the trailer? Are you excited for Gen V? If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. The whole season 1 is on Prime Video. You can check it out. Like I said, it's really good, amazing series. Definitely adult subject matter, not one for the whole family necessarily. The Boys or Gen V. But if you're an adult and you like comic books, I imagine that you'll appreciate some of it. There may be some of it that might be a little bit too much as well, because like I said, they definitely veer into some kind of shock stuff sometimes that at times can be a little bit much for myself as well. But ultimately the writing and the love of the source material is obviously evident in the product that they're producing. So I'm very excited to see how Gen V season 2 is going to come together. Let me know what you guys think. Let's have a conversation. Do you not like it? Do you like it? Are you excited? Are you lukewarm? Are you passive? Whatever it is, let me know. Drop a like also and subscribe to the channel. The channel. But you could also subscribe to the channel. I don't know what the channel is, but I prefer if you subscribe to the channel. With all that being said, it's been me, your boy Empath, here with another trailer reaction. Stay tuned, I got new content coming, but we still gonna keep coming with the trailer reactions as well. So, thank you guys for your time, and I am out of here!